Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. So today's video is going to be a Q&A that I posted on Instagram a few days ago, almost a week ago. But yesterday we flew back from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We were there for a wedding that we were at this past weekend from a friend from high school. And this past weekend pretty much kicked off wedding season for us. So for the next couple of months till October, we have like 5 or 6 weddings that we'll be traveling to and from almost like every other weekend. So it's going to be a busy wedding season. So we'll jump right into this Q&A. I like doing these Q&A sessions because it gives me an opportunity to address questions that I don't typically, touch on in vlogs. And these questions themselves are pretty much geared towards what's going to happen after this Embraces Suck series, this cut, and what I'm doing with BPN, my personal brand, businesses. Number one, how has your time in the military prepared you for being a business owner? And yesterday when I was in the airport, Pittsburgh Airport, I picked up a new book to read. It's called The CEO Next Door. And essentially, it is a compilation, a meta-analysis of a bunch of interviews from CEOs and business owners from Fortune 500 companies all the way down to, small in-town brick-and-mortar retail stores. And it goes over like an analysis of the characteristics that successful CEOs share. And literally, as I was reading this book, I do this all the time to Steph. I'm reading something or I'm thinking back to a story. There's a situation I'm going through with one of the businesses. And I was reading this book and I looked over at her and I was like, I cannot believe how much being an officer in the military, the infantry, has been directly correlated to being a business owner. And specifically from like a leadership management standpoint. So the things I learned from being a platoon leader, from being mentored from my platoon sergeant and squad leaders and my company commander, those lessons that I learned and had to implement to lead personnel have been directly correlated and influence everything I do in business. It's crazy how similar they are. And especially reading this book, you realize that some of the shared characteristics of successful CEOs and business owners are things you learn in the military. So I would say 100% my time as a platoon leader in the infantry has influenced and affected in a positive direction. It's been an advantage for me to be a business owner and has helped BPN grow dramatically. What are your future plans with BPN and Lost, and have you thought of any new business ideas? So right now, BPN is as I say this a lot, it's in a big growth plan right now. We're growing a lot. We're adding new products. We're trying to be more innovative with our formulas and our designs. Lost, we have a new launch coming up in September. So we have these flannels are dropping, 2 patterns for men, 2 patterns for women. Lost is still in its birthing phase and trying to establish its brand image and presence in a market. And it's just part of a business timeline. Our second launch, which is in September, is more so custom cut apparel. So we're going towards gear instead of just clothing. So flannels, jackets, stuff like that. And this will be the first custom cut piece of apparel that we worked with the manufacturer on. There's not a specific business that I'm looking to start in the near future, but I'm always looking, instead of just short term, long term. Where do I want to be? Where do I want to be as a business owner? What do I want to do with my personal brand? And how do I want to be perceived as an entrepreneur? Because to me, that's like one of the most important things is I want to be known or perceived as a smart business owner, entrepreneur. So things that I'm really looking towards in the future for new business ideas isn't so directly just e-commerce to end consumer. So we create a product or a service and it goes directly to an end consumer. What I'm looking towards in the future is working business to business. So me working with other businesses and trying to be more innovative, more creative with our design and business concept. I know it's a very broad kind of spectrum of what I'm trying to accomplish, but I think when people get into, especially the fitness industry, people think about being an entrepreneur or a business owner, they think of end product. This product goes to distribute to this end consumer. What I'm starting to think of is more big picture, business to business. I don't know exactly what that is yet or what that's going to be, but I'm trying to put myself in a position where I'm establishing those networks and those connections in the industry or other industries to make that happen at some point. This is a 2-part question. One is tips for getting more confident at public speaking, and the second one is How do you like meet people with the same outlook in life or who are trying to accomplish the same things? Number one, public speaking is something I struggled with hard in the beginning. This really comes down to my time in the military, like when I was the first platoon leader, and having to talk and speak at larger audiences or groups of people. This was really difficult for me, but it's one of those things is the more you do it, the more repetitions you get, the better you get at it. And still, if I have to do a speaking engagement or talk to a large group of people, at first it's kind of intimidating, but once you get started in your rhythm, you just go with the flow and you fall into that rhythm and it feels very comfortable. So I would say get as many repetitions as you can, as much experience as you can. There are settings in cities and towns where you can practice your public speaking with large audiences and engagements. And if this is something you need to do for work or you feel you need to work on, you can find these platforms or these groups and go practice your public speaking at, which can do wonders for the workplace you're trying to be a part of. So I was actually just talking to Steph about this yesterday as well on the plane ride home, and it's about having groups of friends, and almost like different groups of friends have different feelings and purposes. And so like when this past weekend I was at the wedding, hanging out with high school and college friends, there was a lot of storytelling, reflecting back to times we were in high school and college and things we did, and kind of just catching up in life. And then I have groups of friends on a more professional level, which is when I'm together with them. We talk business, we talk growth strategy, we talk goals and what we're trying to accomplish. So I have some groups of friends where I'm hanging out, I'm just having a really good time, and it's more personal. And then some groups of friends are more professional, more business oriented, and finding these networks, these professional groups, you can find them online on social or start reaching out to people who are doing the same thing as you, struggling with the same problems. I think it's really important, and this is where I'm at as well, and with my personal brand, is I'm always looking for new mentors, people to bounce ideas off of, and sometimes hiring a mentor, whether that's for personal or business, can do wonders for you, and finding someone who has done what you're trying to do, has been there, done that, has experience, and hiring them to help you get to where you're at. Obviously, having a group of friends who are the same, goal-oriented type and influenced and motivated by the same things is great to bounce ideas off of and get motivated by and work together. But it's also great to have someone that has already done it, who has more experience and has accomplished more, to have as a mentor to help you grow, help you reach that next level. What is your biggest piece of advice for new beginning wannabe entrepreneurs in the fitness world? I'd say, obviously, social growth can do wonders for your business. And just as, like, say, for example, I didn't have any social media platform. I wanted to start a business. I wanted to be an entrepreneur in the fitness world. There's two different directions you can take right off the bat. You yourself can be the name, the personality behind the brand, or you can outsource that to influencers, send product to, send your services to, and have them promote it. I think too many times or too often people just focus on social media as their platform, their all-in-one piece of their business growth strategy, and they fall behind a lot. You can learn a lot just through experience in some sort of leadership management role, working directly with people. I think one of the problems today is everything's so digital, everything's done online, that a lot of these up-and-coming entrepreneurs or business owners have never experienced or been in a role where they have to directly influence and manage people on a personal level. Everything's done online. So then when you give them these challenges, they fall apart. They don't know, where to go. And I've worked with some people recently where it's just been like skill level 1 kind of personnel management type stuff, and they fall apart. They don't know where to go from there because they haven't experienced that. So I'd say my biggest piece of advice is try to find some sort of leadership management role that you can experience, working directly with people, influencing people, directing and managing people, and that can do wonders for your business in the long run. Do you film and edit a lot of your work? So I used to film and edit everything, but what it started doing is taking up a lot of my time that I should have been dedicating to the business. So, I work with some mentors and some marketing agencies, and one of the things that they helped me do was, instead of working in the business, of like filming, editing, maybe packing, orders, stuff like that. I have to work on the business. On the business is bigger perspective. How do I help scale and grow this organization to take it to the next level? So a lot of people will say stuff like, Nick, you should be back packing orders with Preston. Well, no, me and Preston established that early on, that if we wanted BPN and Lost and our companies to grow, I couldn't be working in the business. I had to be working on the business, bigger perspective on bigger parts of growing and scaling. But right now, I have Robbie Boyd, who's filming and editing almost all of my videos, which has taken a lot of that workload off of me, where I can focus on other aspects. So one of the things we're working on right now after this Embrace the Suck cut series is I want to write a book, which I'll dive into probably later on in the next couple of weeks and months. But I want to work on a book. I want to be a published author. So that's something I have in the pipeline for a few months ahead. My question as a soldier is how you manage to run a company, produce YouTube videos, be overseas in Korea, and be successful in multiple categories. So, like I've talked about and established before, my 9 months in Korea was the most probably productive and effective 9 months of my life. I turned my company around, I scaled it, and I was able to then transition out of the military into civilian life as a full-time entrepreneur and business owner. But when I was there during those 9 months, I literally worked like 24/7 essentially. So sometimes, like, everyone or a lot of people want to establish and reach some sort of goal or milestone in their life. And sometimes you just have to embrace that suck and realize you have to put in the work, whether it takes a day, a week, a month, or a year, until you make it happen. So I would literally, I would wake up at 4 a.m. and I would get some work done before going to PT because of the time difference, 14-hour time difference from the States and Korea. I would go to PT, I'd go to work. After work, if we weren't in the field or if we got off at, say, 5 p.m., I would then film videos, read books, listen to podcasts until like 2 a.m. So most of the time in Korea, I wasn't sleeping that much. I was constantly working and growing and learning. And at some point, like, that's just something you have to do. And that's going to be a huge part of this book that I write in the future is, embracing the suck, no matter what that means to you or what it is, what kind of suck you're embracing. If you want to reach a goal or accomplish something, sometimes things are going to be uncomfortable for a long period of time. Okay, so that's going to wrap up the Q&A for today. And I'll tell you, these questions really got me excited because for me, a huge passion of mine from a work perspective is entrepreneurship, business. It just gets me super excited and jacked up. And then to see so many people interested in it, and it's a goal of other people's, it just makes me excited to help give some sort of insight in my journey, my story, my businesses. So hope you guys enjoy this one, and I'll see you in the next video.